Hello everybody, I am not dead yet, and Turkesterone is a freaking scam, and I have proof. So, on Reddit, r/Nootropics Depot recently dropped this massive post detailing how most, if not all, Turkesterone products currently on the market are not just underdosed, but severely underdosed. And I mean like insanely, unbelievably underdosed. I originally saw this story from a screen grab that Geoffrey Verdi Schofield actually reposted to his story, and I was like, oh my god, this is insane. Like, this is big if true. Very, very big if true. So I DM'd him and asked him to send me his source, and he did. This will be linked in the description if you want to check it out yourself. But essentially, what happened here is the person took not just Greg's Turkesterone, but Turkesterone from pretty much everybody, DerekMorePlatesMoreDatesDotCom, as well as a couple others like Swole AF and somebody else, and tested them all to find that none of them were dosed properly, and none of them were dosed adequately in regards to what they said on the label. Starting with Derek's Turkesterone, he says, and I quote, "There is Turkesterone in there, however there is only 0.44 milligrams per capsule. The label claims there is 500 milligrams of a 10% Turkesterone extract in there, which should deliver 50 milligrams of Turkesterone itself. This means there is a 0.88% of the label claim, or 111 times less than the label claims." That is, like, absolutely asinine. And then when we go down to where he speaks about HTLT's product, he says, "You can see exactly the same situation. Small peak for Turkesterone, big peak for beta-ecdysterone. They claim on their label that there is 500 milligrams of Turkesterone in each capsule. We found 0.78 milligrams per capsule. That is 0.0015% of the label claim, or over 641 times less than what the label claims to be there." Like, this is completely nuts. Like, I don't really know what to say about this. Like, this is actually mind-boggling, right? And, in terms of the test, this guy seems pretty legit. Like, I've admittedly, one, I'm not on Reddit because I actually go outside, but two, it seems like this guy does know what he's doing. He posted in his big Reddit post a link to his YouTube channel explaining his lab and the equipment he uses and how he actually went about getting these results. If you guys want to look through it, I will link it all in the description. You can go check it out. And admittedly, I'm not necessarily the right person to truly analyze all these studies and pick apart what's good with it or the problems with this study. That just isn't me. I'm just the guy here who's trying to break the story and hopefully get a bunch of clicks, views, and maybe a few subscribers out of the deal. So, you know, hopefully that's what happens, and hopefully people who are way more knowledgeable than me on the subject read through this thing and, you know, can better understand it, you know, better than me, and hopefully either debunk it or push these companies to give out better products. Because here's the thing, he talks about, if you scroll down to the comments, one of them talks about how he actually reposted this to the More Plates More Dates subreddit, and Derek initially hid it, which seems very amogus. But after, I mean, I assume after he read it, he reactivated the post. So this could actually be just an issue with the supplement industry as a whole and the supply chain, as opposed to these companies and these influencers, more specifically, obviously, Greg and DerekMorePlatesMoreDatesDotCom, intentionally selling faulty product and negative product, or faulty product, negative product, intentionally selling incredibly underdosed products, for what? To make a quick buck, I assume. To me, it just doesn't really make sense. Derek obviously has an amazing reputation in the fitness community. Everyone seems to love Delt Lord. And so it just doesn't really make sense to me as to why he would do it. And even with Greg, hell, I've even defended Greg and the Turkesterone supplement as a whole before in another video when Vitruvian Physique tried to kind of trash Greg and talk shit about the supplement. I'll link that video here somewhere so you can go watch it. And look, you can see that I've got HTLT products behind me. I am an affiliated YouTuber, but this is just a completely different thing entirely, because it's like, more often than not, people talk about turkesterone being placebo effect, right? Which is a real thing, but this even accounts for the placebo effect, the counter of, well, I definitely beyond placebo felt something, because it's mostly ecdysterone. Which, okay, sure, like, yeah, you may be getting results, but it's not turkesterone, which is faulty marketing at the very fucking least, not worst, the very fucking least. So, like, and I know people are gonna be saying, like, oh, not dead yet, like, he's got no integrity, why do you keep defending him? And yes, I do defend him a lot, and I've been very, very lenient with Greg, and I always do my best to take his side. That is my bias, and I admit that outright. I like Greg, I am openly biased towards Greg, I am friends with Greg and members of Greg's entourage. I have talked fairly frequently with editor Steve, and I'm friends with his sister Christine. I am friends and pal around with the head of his social media marketing team, so I have access to a lot of information that he doesn't have. I'm also friends with Josh, the Iron Musket, who is straight up sponsored by HTLT, and so he gets access to information that I don't, and we talk about it. So I'm a lot more in the know than the vast majority of people, and I do, for the most part, give Greg the benefit of the doubt, but assuming, like, this was intentionally done, it is, like, it's completely indefensible. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, Greg, I can't keep defending you, and I've made that joke before. It's like, Greg, like, I can't keep defending you. It's like, everyone's calling me a nut hugger or whatever, and it's a meme, like, I laugh about it, but, like, legitimately, this is completely indefensible if done intentionally, but I just don't, it doesn't make sense as to why this would be done intentionally. Again, by either of them, especially Greg, because a lot of people are looking to catch Greg, quote-unquote, for lack of a better term. Like, everybody wants that big gotcha. See, Greg, you're not who you say you are. You don't give a shit. And, like, say what you want about Greg, but the guy's not stupid. Like, and if he were to get caught, this just doesn't seem like the way it would happen. This just seems too stupid. Like, especially after Sean Nalawani went through his fat burner and exposed, again, for lack of a better term, that, like, you'd figure he wouldn't do that again. Like, it just, or at least he wouldn't do that again intentionally. It just doesn't make sense. Like, especially with all the people that are trying to catch Greg, you'd figure, like, he'd know that someone would test his product at some point. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And all those stuff applies to Gorilla Mind and More Plates, More Dates as well. Like, it just doesn't seem, like, it just makes no sense. And ultimately, too, a lot of people say, well, these big influencers, they just don't care. But I don't think it's that. Because, like, there's so much, like, if this happens, and this, like, his reputation's down the toilet, at least in my opinion. It's like, what do you have to gain? It's so much risk, and it's so easy to find out, especially when you have so many people. You'd figure someone's going to test something at some point, so it's like, is it, like, are you really going to take that big of a risk for something that's relatively easily found out? Now, I know, like, not everybody has access to all the machinery necessary, but when you have millions of followers and you're a big name in the fitness industry, and you put out a product, people are bound to test it, right? So it just doesn't seem like, it just doesn't add up. The math ain't mathin', if you know what I mean. But if we even go into that, because a lot of people will probably say something like, oh, well, what about all the people saying that they felt something and that they gained muscle about it? Are they lying? Is it all placebo? I mean, partly it could be, but they actually do explain why that could be in the massive post that he made, and it's that as opposed to having a ton of turkesterone in it, most of the capsules are composed of beta-ecdysterone. And these are apparently two different substances. However, there are certain tests, and again, this is all to my comprehension. If I get this wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, but some of the tests just aren't able to distinguish between the two. And some of the tests are very poor in distinguishing plant hormones and stuff of that nature. So as opposed to saying there's X amount of turkesterone and X amount of beta-ecdysterone, it combines the two and then gives you a certain number of, you know, what it is combined. And so when it's put under serious scrutiny, like testing for both specifically in two separate testing processes, then you can figure out how much is actually in there. So the fact that people did feel something could be accounted for the fact that there is beta-ecdysterone in the capsules and very minimal turkesterone. I am going to read here for HTLT. We found 15.48 milligrams of beta-ecdysterone per capsule in the HTLT turkesterone product. So there's more beta-ecdysterone and slightly more turkesterone, but way less than claimed. And if we scroll back up to Gorilla Mind or Gorilla Mode, I don't know what his actual company is. How much beta-ecdysterone is in the Gorilla Mind turkesterone product? 5.34 milligrams per capsule. The product is basically beta-ecdysterone with a very small amount of turkesterone in it. That's exactly what we have been seeing in many of the raw material samples we have tested from around the world. All the turkesterone on the market is either just fake or is using the raw material that is mostly beta-ecdysterone, which it's not a whole lot either. 5.34 milligrams per capsule isn't a big dose. Could you feel it? Maybe so. I have not personally tested it, but some people have told me that they heard that Gorilla Mind was using the same supplier as Turk Builder from HTLT, so we went and got that one too. So again, this could honestly just be a supplier issue. He mentions in the post that in China that they are having trouble getting the suppliers here, and I quote, "We've been testing a bunch of turkesterone samples for a while now. This includes raw materials from suppliers selling them and retail products on the market claiming to be turkesterone. To date, we have not found a single sample that has passed our testing. Not a single one. We have also a trusted supplier in China that we work with on a lot of things. They too have been trying over 2 years to find a batch of turkesterone that passes. They have not been able to. All of the ones they test fail as well. We have also been approached by countless other suppliers offering us turkesterone. When we press them on the lab tests and verification, they all ultimately admit that they don't think it's real either. You know, if Chinese suppliers are saying things are not real or don't exist in the market, it's serious. China will sell you anything most of the time. They really don't care if it's real. What is going on in the turkesterone market right now is that most of these samples have zero turkesterone or extremely low amounts. What many of them do have is beta-ecdysterone. This is why some people still feel effects from them and why some labs are giving results showing it passes. Let's go through some of the background chemistry and validations to give you guys an idea of what we are seeing. So yeah, this is actually like a pretty big, or it potentially seems to be a massive supplier issue as opposed to just, you know, influencers willingly scamming you. At least I choose to believe until proven otherwise that this is the case, and it's partly the reason why I made this video. Obviously views and subs, like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, this is a big story, and if I can get some eyes on my channel covering this, like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. But also, like, I want people like Greg and DerekMorePlatesMoreDatesDotCom to make some sort of response to this post, to be like, I didn't know, or this is what's going on, this is what I'm doing to better it, because that's what YouTube fitness is supposed to be about, is holding people accountable, whether it's accountable for their fitness goals, what they believe is a achievable physique to attain, or just holding people accountable in the products that they sell. The article also kind of goes into like how bad the FDA is at testing, set aside the fact that the tests done have trouble differentiating ecdysterone from turkesterone, which is actually a really like bad look on Derek's part, who sells two supplements. One is specifically turkesterone and the other is specifically ecdysterone. If they're basically the same thing, you may as well go with the one that's cheaper. And again, it just really feels like a cash grab. Like, but again, I don't want to make any real assumptions here or speak for these YouTubers, because I really do not know. Because even still, if you go down into this study, They also take a look at Doublewood and Swole AF Turkesterone, and neither one of them had, both of them had 0 milligrams of turkesterone per capsule. It was all beta ecdysterone. So again, this does seem to be a supplier issue, but like, I'm at a loss. Like, this is genuinely shocking, and there's nothing I can say to really defend those involved aside from the fact that they didn't know, and I really don't think that anyone involved, integrity argument aside, is stupid enough to do something like this. But like, Greg, Derek, more plates, more dates. Please do some sort of response to this. Please, let us know what the hell's going on. And yes, I do understand that this, and to be fair, this is also just one guy doing one test, but it does raise alarm bells, at least for me. And again, even if it is just one guy doing one test, please make some sort of response to show the holes in his argument, because I admittedly am just not intelligent enough and don't understand the subject matter enough to do it myself. Near the end of the article, he also digs into DerekMorePlatesMoreDatesDotCom's Sigma Nuts supplement, and I just don't know too much about it. I don't know the chemistry behind any of that, and for the most part, I think test boosters are kind of BS anyway. But apparently Greg is also coming out with a test booster as well, and obviously Derek already came out with one, so I just when that happened, I just kind of rolled my eyes, shrugged my shoulders, and said, oh well, maybe maybe new research came out for them to make something more potent to actually help boost tests. I don't know. Again, this is not my area of expertise. I'm a fighter, not a chemist, right? So yeah, if you guys want to look through all of this, please do. I encourage it, because it'll help find the truth, whether someone's wrong here, or there's something going on here at the very least, whether it's Nootropics that is lying, whether it's DerekMorePlatesMoreDatesDotCom or GregDoucette.com for coaching that is lying, whether it's the supplement industry as a whole that's having trouble with supply, whether the YouTubers involved had no idea, I don't know, but I want the truth, and I think everybody else would also be very, very interested in the truth. But I mean, that is all I really have to say for this video. In terms of support, thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. You all mean the world to me. It allows me to keep making videos and pushing for better content and, all that. So thank you very much. If you want to become one, links are in my description. If you want to support me and buy from Greg, I mean, his protein powders are definitely good. I have tried them. I like them. As well as things like the pre-workouts and all that. Feel free to click the link in my description. I know this was basically like a whole, oh no, it might all be BS thing, but I mean, if you want to support me while getting yourself some of those things, protein powders, pre-workouts, and Turkesterone, you can do that in the description below. But I think that's it. Oh, no, of course. And Skybox Designs, who is the person that edits all of my videos now. This video is going to probably be a little bit more tricky for him, considering it's a little bit more all over the place, and there's a lot of stuff he'll probably have to cut out. But aside from that, go check him out. Supporting him helps support me, because it allows me to continue to let him edit for me, and it allows it to make it worth his while. So, until the next one, remember, only the strong subscribe. I'm not dead yet, and if you are not either, there is always a tomorrow waiting for you. And honestly, I'm excited for that tomorrow when some of these response videos start rolling out.